Are you sick and tired of dealing with low energy, lack of focus and concentration, maybe even memory problems, but are looking for a natural solution? Well, then you've come to the right place. You probably have even been wondering at this point in time, what are the best foods for brain health? That's the answer I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video, so let's dive right on in. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly, Doctor of Cause, chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine, and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we are going to be covering the most controversial topic when it comes to eating for brain health and what the actual truth is. Then we're going to be discussing what the number one biggest lie about diet you've been told your whole entire life is and no longer have to believe. And finally, I will be sharing with you the number one nutrient deficiency in America that is killing your brain's health. Let's get started. All right, what in the world is the most controversial topic when it comes to eating for brain health? The answer is grains. Do we eat them or do we not? My answer is we do not. Now, don't hate me, stick with me, okay? Let me give you some explanation here. There is a lot of research that's coming out that shows gluten-containing grains cause a lot of our brain health-related problems. So lack of focus and concentration, short-term memory types of issues, even issues with anxiety or mood stabilization, so depression, okay? There is a debate in America about gluten. And what is it that we're actually not dealing well with? And how come our ancestors didn't have issues with gluten? This is like a new age, trendy type of an issue, but it's not trendy. There is a reason to it. And I believe that it's not just one or the other. I think it's kind of all of the information I'm going to share with you combined. So there's one side of the camp that believes part of the reason why people are having so many challenges with gluten these days is because it genetically has been changed so much. Ancient grains used to have only 12 chromosomes, wheat, that is. In today, which this is old, I haven't looked at the latest, so it might actually be more, but today's wheat has 48 chromosomes. So this side of the camp believes that part of our problem is that we don't even have a digestive enzyme to recognize what today's wheat looks like to be able to break it down. Here's the thing. That wouldn't be a problem, though, if Americans had digestive systems, or guts, working the right way. But according to research, about 80% of Americans have guts that are leaking stuff into the bloodstream that causes problems. So now you have this unrecognizable wheat that actually still ends up into the body and can create problems because the body doesn't know what to do with it. It looks at it as a foreign invader. And when something is looked at as a foreign invader, the immune system sends out an alert and then it reacts. And that's part of where this could be coming from. The other side of the camp is that wheat and other gluten-containing grains have been made so they're Roundup ready or GMO'd, right? They're not technically Roundup ready because that would mean that these crops actually repel the pesticide that the farmers are putting on it. That's not what happens. So ultimately, these crops that have been designed to be able to be not killed by pesticide as a result of this GMO modification, there's a lot more pesticide being put on the crops because now you can kill all the pests without killing the crop. If it was Roundup ready, the crop would actually repel the Roundup. It wouldn't absorb it at all. But what's actually happening is the crop is absorbing these pesticides. So this other side of the gluten debate camp actually thinks that it's not so much the gluten that people are reacting to, but the level of pesticides that people are unknowingly consuming as a result of eating products that are made from these crops. All I know is neither one of them is good, and gluten has a high affinity for creating problems with your brain. So if you don't want to have lack of energy and lack of focus and concentration or memory issues, you really might want to steer clear from gluten-containing grains. Now, I also at the beginning of this said grains in general, not just the gluten-containing ones. And this brings me to the other side of what I need to share with you. It's something known as the glycemic index and the glycemic load. So, a little bit of explanation, and then I'll make it make sense, okay? Glycemic index, if you haven't heard of this before, is a value system of how high does a particular food spike your blood sugar when you eat it. The higher it spikes, the more stressful it is on your body. So a 68 is where table sugar ranks. The higher the number, the more stressful it is for you. Well, guess what's higher than sugar? Grains. The next on the list are all the gluten-containing grains. They come in at about a 70. And then what's higher than that are the gluten-free grains. So like your rice, potato starch, corns, and that. They're actually more stressful, ranked at like 72. This is why when people are like, oh, I'm on a gluten-free diet, you can't just assume that means you're healthy. Because if you just replaced all of your gluten-containing grains with gluten-free options, and you're still eating the same amount, or maybe you're even eating more because you think you can do that since it's not gluten, you could actually be stressing your body out even more than the gluten variety. But when it comes to grains, we also need to discuss something else: whole grains versus refined grains. Now, we've been taught whole grains are better for us. We've been conditioned for a long time that they're a lot better for us. And part of that is true. And the reason being is because they still contain nutrients. In the refined version, all of the components of the grain that hold the nutrient value get stripped away or refined away, okay? So there are less nutrients in the refined version of a grain compared to the whole grain. But now we need to talk about glycemic load. So it's important for us to have some understanding of foods that spike our blood sugar high, but glycemic load talks about how long does a particular food keep your blood sugar spiked for. So here's an interesting thing. We've been taught that whole grains are better for us, and it's because they contain more nutrients. But when you look at glycemic index and glycemic load, whole grains are actually more stressful. Here's the thing. They don't go spiking our blood sugar quite as high as the refined version, but they keep our blood sugar spiked high for longer, which is actually more stressful on our body than what the refined version does. Ultimately, all of this is important because sugars, or things that convert to sugar very quickly and then have that effect on your blood sugar level for a longer period of time, they're very stressful on the body, and they ultimately help produce what's known as inflammation. Inflammation is part of the root cause of all illness and disease. And if you don't know what inflammation is, just think of it as fires that are starting in your body. It's not really good for the body to be on fire. It's definitely not good for the brain to be on fire. And there's no way, shape, or form for you to have high levels of energy, ninja-like focus and concentration, and an impeccable memory if your brain is inflamed. So that is the most controversial topic when it comes to brain health. And you heard it here, maybe not first, but you've heard it here and had it reconfirmed that those foods should be either out of your diet completely or severely minimized, maybe once in a blue moon. Then your body could actually tolerate it. I'm curious, does the thought of cutting all grains out of your diet make your head spin? Have you ever even tried to cut out at least gluten-containing grains? If you have, let me know what your experience has been in the comments, or let me know if I've got you completely overwhelmed and your head spinning because you're like, oh my gosh, what else am I supposed to eat? Don't worry, I'm going to get to that, okay? Let me know. Drop those comments down below so I can see what your feedback is on this topic. All right. Now, what is the biggest lie that you've been told your entire life about diet that you no longer have to believe? That fat is bad for you, and even saturated fat. We have been conditioned to believe, especially since the 70s when they changed our food pyramid, that fat is bad for us. Fat is what clogs our arteries and gives us heart disease or heart attacks, and it's what makes us fat. Well, that's not true. There are bad fats that we should be avoiding, but there are really good fats that we absolutely need to have in our diet. When it comes to brain health and this, trying to bolster so you have limitless levels of energy and ninja-like focus and like an impeccable memory, you have to have fat. Your brain, depending on what source you cite, is anywhere from 70 to 80% fat. So the reality of being on a low fat or as close to no fat diet as possible is you're robbing your brain of the building blocks it needs in order to function. So here's the thing. Let's talk about what are the good fats. Okay, first of all, good fats don't make you fat unless you're consuming huge amounts of them. Okay, get that basically taken care of. The other thing is good fats do not clog up your arteries or cause heart disease and heart attacks. So you can just relax about that. What are these good fats that I'm talking about? Well, this is like your coconut oil, your avocado oil, grass-fed butter or ghee, avocados, nuts and seeds, flax oil. Those are all good. And even cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. Got to talk about olive oil though, really quick. When they flipped our pyramid around and they told us that fat was bad for us, they said the safe alternative to use was olive oil. So now everybody under the sun has been cooking with olive oil for decades, even at this point, and ultimately causing harm unknowingly because we've been fed wrong information. You see, extra virgin olive oil does not have a high flash heat temperature, which ultimately means it does not tolerate heat. So this switching out fats and using olive oil to cook everything in is not the best idea you should be doing. In fact, if anything goes above about 250 degrees, you're heating that oil up too much that it breaks it down and essentially makes it rancid, which now you're putting in like free radicals, which are toxic to your body that can cause cell damage. So my rule of thumb when it comes to extra virgin olive oil is to either drizzle it on top of like say roasted vegetables after you've pulled them out of the oven, or keep that more for your salad dressings. Use the coconut oil or the grass-fed butter or the avocado oil as your alternatives for cooking. They actually can tolerate the heat without any issues. Before I get into the number one nutrient deficiency in America that is killing your brain's health, I just want to remind you to click that subscribe button down below and turn the notifications on. I am producing videos on a regular basis that all are focused around brain health and ultimately helping you achieve what I like to call total body mastery. And I don't want you to miss out. So remember, click that subscribe button and turn your notifications on, and you'll never miss a future video with me. And I love that. Okay, what is the number one nutrient deficiency in America that is killing your brain's health? It's magnesium. I don't know if you knew that, but magnesium is the number one nutrient deficiency, period, in America in adults. It's iron for kids, but magnesium. Magnesium is so important. It's important for more than just brain health. So let me give you a few little facts about it. And then I want to share with you the only version of magnesium that's been proven to cross into the brain, because if everything's working right, your brain has a protective border and it won't let everything in. So stick around because I'm going to share that one with you in a second. Magnesium. It makes up 1/3 of every single cell in your body. So critically important to have at high levels, and majority of Americans are deficient in it. It's also needed for 80% of all the different biochemical reactions that happen in your body 24/7. So if you don't have enough of it, there's a whole slew of health problems that could result. And then your brain can't function without it. So some ways that you can add more magnesium in is through diet. Okay, now if you're a fan of oysters, which I am not, but if you are, go gangbusters, okay? Try to get them from clean sources, but oysters have the most nutrient density when it comes to magnesium. So really high levels of magnesium found in oysters. Now, if you're like me and you don't like oysters, that's fine. You can consume raw pumpkin seeds, also known as pepitas. About a 1/4 cup of those a day will get you enough magnesium. So I like to add those into my salads, which is also like extra ways to add in magnesium. All those dark leafy greens are another good source for magnesium. So have a really healthy, dark green, nutritious salad that you top with those raw pumpkin seeds on a regular basis, and you'll be boosting more magnesium-rich foods into your diet and can start improving that level just naturally with what you're eating. But it still has to make it through the body and get up into the brain, and the brain has this protective barrier known as the blood-brain barrier, okay? Only certain things are allowed into the brain if that barrier is doing what it's supposed to. It's like your first line of defense. Picture like little soldiers standing at the gate, like, nope, you're not allowed to come here. Like, only certain individuals are allowed to pass into the brain. You got to be on the list, right? Well, when it comes to magnesium, there is a form that has been proven to be able to be on the list and make it into the brain. That form is known as magnesium L-threonate. So if you're going to just start supplementing with magnesium, because it is hard to get enough of it purely out of our diet alone, then that is the form you want to look for on wherever you're getting your supplements from. I would recommend that you go to your natural health food stores or get it from your healthcare practitioner, or you can reach out to me. I can help you with that as well. But look for magnesium L-threonate. Now, if I've kind of rocked your world on this new way of eating and you're sitting there wondering, what on earth am I supposed to be eating right now? And I don't know if I even can understand what this looks like. Don't waste another moment on those thoughts. I've got you covered. If you go to the description right now, you'll see a link down there. That link, click it, and you'll get immediate access to my free 7-day Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan that has you completely taken care of. I've included what your meal plan looks like, and this was designed for working, busy individuals that do not have time to cook on a regular basis, or for those individuals who don't want to cook on a regular basis. It also includes your grocery list, and then all of these tasty recipes that don't take but moments to actually make. So again, go down to the description, find the link, click that, and get access to that free 7-day Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan. All right, guys, that brings us to the end. I thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you on a future video. Take care and God bless.